Hello, I'm Keiran Melikoff, and I'm an expert in human movement, biomechanics. I'm a Pilates teacher. I'm a personal trainer, 20 years experience, and I am going to teach you how to sit, which you're going to say, I know how to sit, Keiran. But do you know how to sit without creating a problem in your back, your leg, your chest, your spine? Let's look at neutrality first. So neutrality is where your skeleton is at its optimum position. So start with your pelvis. So pelvis, at the front of your pelvis is a bone. Bone's called the anterior superior iliac spine. And at the back is a posterior superior iliac spine. And it doesn't matter what shape you are. Usually you can put your thumb on the posterior iliac spine. So you find the bony bit here, and then you put your finger on your anterior superior iliac spine, and you tilt it forward and back, and it's neutral when it's exactly the same height. Now I will guarantee that everybody watching this video is either tilted forward or tilted back. That's normal. Or if you've got one leg longer than the other, you're tilted that way. Okay, and the attitude of this pelvis determines whether you have a kyphotic posture, a lordotic posture, or a scoliotic posture, okay, where your spine's laterally deviated. So think about that pelvis, forward, back, and that's neutral. Okay, then your shoulders. So you should, I'm sure you all sit at your desk like that with your chest open, and you put your work here, and you work on your work right up there. No? I didn't think so. You all do this over your work. Okay, so you slump forward. Your shoulder girdle should be up and out, like that. The scapula, your shoulder blades, are three of your fingers from the medial border, no, two of your fingers from the medial border of the scapula to the center of the spine. So that's that, down and back. Then the tip of the xiphoid process, the bottom of the sternum, is tilted down like that. Then your arms are out working. That's neutral, up and out. So if you forget, go up and out, shoulders go into neutral. That's where your work belongs, here. Right there in front of you. Shoulder blades not squashed together, but closer than this. Okay, if you keep doing this, you're going to devolve into a prawn-like animal. Then you're going to grow another set of arms and another set of arms. You can do 3 lots of work at the same time. Okay. Although your bosses may like that idea, it is not going to be good for your back and your posture. Neck posture. This is a Galapagos tortoise, not a human being. You need to have your head back, up, like a cherry on top of a cocktail stick. Your ear roughly lines up with the center of your shoulder. Ear, shoulder, hip bone, greater trochanter, medial, just posterior of the knee, and then lateral malleolus bone, which is a posh word for your heel bone. So that is a nice upright posture. When you walk, you don't walk like this. You've got rotation in your waist, so you can keep those shoulders back but still walk with an upright posture. Okay, so I'm going to sit on the chair. Okay, so I'm sure all of you sit exactly like that, and then you do your work. Okay, you don't, do you? You sit like that, and you get more and more into it, and you end up slumped forward. Okay, your neck comes forward. This kyphotic aspect of your upper back, that's where there's an unnatural curve forward in your upper back, starts getting more and more exaggerated. Okay, because there's an imbalance between your pectoral muscles, which are huge, and the muscles that oppose them, which is this rhomboid major and rhomboid minor, which are tiny little muscles in comparison to the size of your chest muscles. So these big, they're like having huge elastic bands with lots of potential energy stored up in them, and they're going forward, 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 forward. So just being aware that your chest needs to be open. Maybe get a desk expander so you can lift your laptop up like that and work here. You want to look that way with your neck neutral. Okay, so ear, shoulder, hip bone in alignment. And then you work there. So desk extender so that you can decide where your work is. Okay. Here's another thing. You probably all do this as well. When you get really into it, you wrap your foot around your chair leg like that. Stop. Bringing this one forward and bouncing it, thinking. Okay. When you do that, you're flexing your foot. That's called dorsiflexion. Plantarflexion, dorsiflexion. You're dorsiflexing your foot. When you're dorsiflexing your foot, you've got this tibia anterioris muscle, and it's flexing the foot, and you end up like working out. This ends up really overused, and that will actually affect how you walk. So you're gonna, if you work a muscle, all exercise, all activity is actually damage to the muscle. You're putting wear and tear into the muscle. The muscle repairs itself. Okay, it squirts collagen into your myofibrils to repair all the little muscle fibers, and then you get tension in that muscle. So you're putting more and more tension into it. So your foot wants to the toes are being pulled back by the tension in this tibia anterioris. Okay, and that's in opposition to the gastrocnemius and soleus in the calf. So one pulls that way, one pushes down that way. Muscles only pull. So these pull from the back. When you shorten the front, the foot goes up. So yeah, suddenly, wow, why is this leg not quite rolling heel to toe when I walk? It's because you put all this tension. Everything you do is in your body as tension. All right, next. Your chin and chest. It's going to be about a fist distance. Okay, fist distance between chin and chest. Shoulder girdle, elevate, depress. Elevate, depress. Elevate, depress. Okay, this is not neutral, and this is not neutral. You've got to find the middle between the 2 points. Okay, not up here. Okay, not flying down to Rio. Right, it's right in the center. Shoulder blades back. Okay, your spine. I tend to arch my back because my quadriceps is strong, and they pull in on the anterior aspect of my pelvis, and that pulls me into that position. Okay, it's called a dancer's back. Okay, a lot of people are like that. High. All right, they're sloped forward because the muscles are too tight here at the front. So we're in a balance between the anterior forces that are pulling you that way and the posterior forces that are pulling you that way. So the muscles are in a balance on either side of your pelvis, like rigging on a ship. And if the rope gets too tight at the back or at the front, you're going to be pulled into those two different positions. And when you sit on the chair, try not to arch your back forward or round your spine into forward flexion like that. Again, it's neutral. There's a natural S shape to your spine, and you're trying to work there without arching your back and without flexing. Your muscles and your body in general chops off systems you're not using. Oh, you're not using the full range of movement of that arm? Fantastic. You can now move it that much. Okay, because it's efficient. If you don't use it, you will lose it. If I put my arm up there and my pectoral muscles are too tight, my latissimus dorsi is too tight, it won't go. So your range of movement depends on your range of movement. So if you put a desk here and a desk here, if you put your coffee over there, then you get a chance to do some rotation. Okay, your spine rotates. Everything in the gym doesn't rotate, does it? Everything's like that, like that, like that. Everything's on this plane of movement. Running, lifting weights, nothing rotates. We're human beings. We are big rotators. When you hurt your back, it's because you put it up on the shelf and it wasn't even heavy. Oh, there it is. Oh, because you're not used to rotating. Okay, so think about having your workstation here and then having something over here so you can turn that way or that way. So you're getting rotation, flexion, extension. Okay. And the other thing that your spine does is lateral flexion. Okay, laterally flexing that way, or ipsilateral. Okay, forward flexion, where the xiphoid process and the pubic bone shorten. And then spinal, the spine shortens, erector spinae shortens, and you arch. So you need to think about trying to work neutral, but also maybe trying to factor in something over here that you can do. You don't have to sit at your desk and dance, okay? But have something there, so you're constantly having to reach over to something over there, working in these planes of movement, okay? That's some basic stuff to just try and keep you from developing problems where the muscle builds up all the collagen to repair something you use over and over again, and then the muscles get thick and short and tight, and you're not really, and then they become less useful to you, and they pull you into the position. So if you've got your phone in your ear, okay, then you're gonna shorten all the muscles on one side. The muscles in your neck, they can move in lots of different directions, and whatever you use, you will overuse. Okay, so whatever antagonistic muscle, there's an opposite agonist and antagonist. One shortens, the other one, the antagonist, shortens. So one is in a balance with another, called reciprocal inhibition. Same with every part. Every muscle in your body has got an opposite number that is ready to lengthen when the muscles shorten. So if your stomach muscles shorten, your rectus abdominis shortens, your rectus spinae lengthens. Okay, so be aware that for every action there is a equal and opposite reaction. So try to be neutral. Try to rotate, try to flex, extend, and try to be upright for efficiency of movement. And also keep your knees about fist distance apart or a little wider. Okay. Feet can be out, don't have to be straight. Your knees, your patella in your knee will tell you whether your femur are neutral. So if your knees are turning in, okay, you're activating too much adductor muscle. If your knees are turning right out and you can't really close them comfortably, you've got too much overactive upper gluteal muscles, gluteus minimus and medius. You're trying to be about fist distant apart or a little wider than fist distant apart with your knees, and you're working up here. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now because I could talk all day. Thank you for listening.